And now the General Lady from Florida, Miss Cammack, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate the conversation today regarding soil health. Representing a state that produces over 300 specialty crops and is a major contributor to our nation and the world's agriculture, this is a very important topic. I'm going to focus in on a couple of key issues, but this first question goes to all of our panelists. We can start going down the line. First and foremost, thank you for being here today, both to, as I said, the chairman and the ranker. But I want to start out with a discussion about biochar in agricultural production and its application. In Florida, the use of biochar derived from wood products or waste is viewed as a positive new advancement for soil health and agricultural production. For example, there are a number of nurseries, citrus groves, and others who have incorporated the use of biochar into their operations. Now, according to the University of Florida's Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences, IFAS, biochar can have benefits for waste production, energy production, carbon sequestration, and soil fertility without sacrificing any production tools needed. Now, moreover, UF-IFAS notes that biochar can positively and simultaneously improve crop yields and reduce fertilizer requirements for crops in certain environments. And we're going to continue to push for additional studies on this issue, but would any one of our witnesses be able to speak to the potential benefits for both producers and soil health by increasing the use of biochar in certain production areas throughout the United States?
I would like to speak to that question if that's okay. We actually got a grant, just this morning from the Partnerships for Climate Smart Commodities that's focused on this exact principle, high carbon soil amendment with biochar. This is imperative in terms of trying to address our soil health challenges. As I mentioned, all the stuff that we've talked about today that's currently recognized in conservation practice standards by NRCS is not enough to do more than just offset current emissions. We need frontier technologies such as biochar and high carbon soil amendment to help repair some of the damage from the past and be able to take care of some of that legacy load of carbon within the atmosphere. And this is an excellent opportunity. We're actually recycling a waste stream from our factory to implement this high carbon soil amendment. But the overarching goal of our project is to be able to build in best management practices to this brand new interim conservation practice standard 808 as the biochar infrastructure is developing across the nation. This is a great way to take material that could just sit and rot and cause emissions into the atmosphere and turn it into a high carbon stable form of carbon that can be injected directly into the soil. This is going to be a game changer in terms of replacing compost. It's going to be a game changer for dealing with food waste. It's an excellent opportunity for everybody going forward.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that.
I'm not an expert in biochar. I don't claim to be. But what I would like to say is that when you implement the principles of soil health, you increase your biomass that you're producing from your cover crops, you are feeding this microbial biome. I'm not sure that in that instance biochar is going to benefit me as much as I can benefit with mechanically terminating cover crops that will feed this microbial biome. But again, I'm not an expert.
I appreciate your insight, Mr. Clark.
I would agree with you, Rick. I think it depends where you are in the spectrum of transition and how the quality and the current health of your soil. What we've noticed is that soils that are highly degraded, the input of biochar makes a big difference. Same with those biostimulants that we talked about earlier. And as you progress in your journey towards a healthier soil, you see less and less impact or measurable impact from that biochar. But there's certainly an opportunity there to have great success by using these new tools.
I would add to that as well that in particular in where I live in the country in northwest Kansas, in particular in years such as the one we're going through today under extreme drought conditions, cover crops might not be an issue. Frankly, they're not an issue or an option right now for most dryland farmers. But having the tool of biochar available in the toolbox allows for continued improvements in soil health, carbon sequestration in years when implementing cover crop programs are not a viable option, such as this year.
That's wonderful. And my time is about to expire. I have a follow-up question that I'll submit for the record. If we could get a response, I sure would appreciate it. And thank you all for appearing before the committee today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.